Hey, good afternoon, folks. I think we are up and running. Let me get everything switched over and we will proceed with more Monster Hunter. Alright, we should have game audio. We should have regular mic audio. Hey, Snake's here. What's up, Snake? How you doing this afternoon? And Iconic is here. Hey, what's up, Iconic? Seems like it's been a while. I hope you are doing well. How's mic sound coming in? For some reason, my mic peak settings look different in OBS. Let me know if I'm coming in too soft or too loud. The background music is going to be a little bit quiet until things start happening in-game. But welcome, folks. Okay, Snake says sound perfectly fine. All right, just checking. Will probably ask you folks every single time I start a stream. So what are we doing today? As the stream title suggests, I learned this week that we are officially doing a Monster Hunter stream for Extra Life. And as a result, I need to do some preparation for it. So probably between now and whenever that it ends up being during the event, I need to focus on building some equipment to be able to use on that. And I'll explain what we're looking at doing. Hopefully it's not really too spoilery, but I'll give some kind of indications of what we're planning for the event. And we will proceed from there. Iconic says, sorry for all I missed. Hope you're well. Iconic, you should not apologize for not coming to streams. Everyone is busy. You show up when you can and when you want to, and it's all good. Hey, Coffee's here. What's up, Coffee? How you doing? All right, so let me go here. So what we're looking at potentially for Extra Life is having chat through donations for the charity event be able to control what our hunting team does during the stream. And it's looking like there'll be a randomizer for us to be able to choose which weapons we're going to take out on hunts. Basically like a wheel of weapons, it sounds like. So any one of the 14 that we see here could be potential things that we'd have to take out on a hunt. Therefore, at some point, I'm going to need to create at least one functional weapon from every single one of these 14, just in case they come up in rotation. Kavi says, not bad. Plup says, Beyblade looking ass. What's up, Plups? Welcome to the stream. And so, looking at what I've built up till now, I've been playing this game for a while. And I think what we're looking at is weapon class as opposed to like a specific weapon, because there's like a couple hundred different types of weapons in the game. So it might be like we roll greatsword and everyone's got to take greatsword on a hunt, or longsword, or any of these, which wouldn't be an issue for the majority of the weapons. But what I wanted to look at is kind of the layout of what I've built and what I haven't, so I can kind of prioritize that in the back of my mind. And I see I got a bunch of stretch and hydrates from Snake. I'm drinking my lunch right now. It's smoothie time. So in the playthrough so far, I've built a pretty comprehensive amount of swords and shields, duels, lance, gun lance, a decent amount of hammers, switch axes, charge blades, and I have a main light bow gun. What I don't have built is a greatsword, a longsword, a hunting horn, insect glaive, heavy gun, or bow. Snake asks, what type of smoothie? I'm drinking a chocolate smoothie. Pretty simple. It's like a vegetable vitamin powder smoothie type thing. I usually drink those for lunch. Actually, I want to look at heavy. I'm in trouble if we pull heavy bow guns, since I don't play this weapon at all. I think what I would do if it did come up. Where are you? Should be a Narga. Yep, Narga line. I would probably go here, Avidia Gambit, and then use my Pierce setup for this.
Ever since I was little. Guess you could say I'm something of an expert at this point. Don't worry about your gear. I grip this here hammer with confidence.
But I don't even know if I have the starting line for this. No, I have to go down to low rank. Coffee says I play Hunting Horn. Oh, I didn't know you play Monster Hunter, Coffee. You play this, you play Sunbreak on PC? Snake says to say I finished Yakuza 2. Nice. Eventually I'll get into the Yakuza games. I guess we have to start. Alright. Have to start here. Coffee says, a bit. I don't have the DLC, but yeah, I play Rise on PC. Ah, I see. Well, you have to let me know if you ever get to Sunbreak. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of really cool stuff in Sunbreak. Alright. How much? Alright. Need cut wings. Razors. These are all low rank bits, I believe. If we can get here, I should have everything to upgrade it all the way to master rank. I'll put a pin in that. I don't have to do low rank hunts on stream. I can do that later. Those will take me a couple minutes. Coffee says, been on a bit of a Warzone kick and have been messing with Rashid. How is Rashid in Street Fighter 6? They patched some of that really crazy tornado spam things that he can do. I saw people on Twitter posting about that. Or the platform formerly known as Twitter. I refuse to call that platform X. But I gotta sit down and take a look at Rashid. He looks cool.
All right, let's make it happen.
Bandit Evo? And that's what some people were saying, but I don't think they would outright ban a new character. But it'd be funny if they did. He's a mobility monster. Yeah, he looks fast. Like the newest DLC character in Street Fighter 6 is very quick and mobile. There's a lot of like distance control. Pretty nutty. Alright, Great Sword. What would I want to build in Great Sword? Probably Raw. I don't have a Great Sword set at all. Or maybe Diablos? What's Diablos look like? 370, 25% negative affinity. It's not bad. In the older games, the Diablos Great Sword was one of the best for Raw. I don't know if it still is. Could go Blast. Element doesn't really matter for Great Sword. May have to figure out which non-elemental Raw Great Sword was best. Tigrex? We could do Tigrex. Can I build it? Nope. It branches from the Baroth line, and I'm missing low rank Baroth Scalp. Oh, I guess I'm going to be doing a lot of low rank farming later. But it starts here. Commodore Tree branches down, Baroth branches down, Tigrex. ends up here. Negative 15% infinity kind of sucks, but 350 raw, decent sharpness. That's not bad. Coffee says, still prefer my Jamie though. I can't wait to fight tons of Rashids next time I play Street Fighter 6. I'm sure it's going to be very challenging. Didn't Tekken come out? Is Tekken out yet?
Money on my mother, mine. Cop 5 haircuts.
I don't play Tekken at all, but I know a lot of people are talking about it.
Foie gras bust of Albert Einstein. Get money.
Hey, and we have a sub from Coffee. Hey, thanks, man. Thanks for the sub. Much appreciated. Hope you enjoy the emotes. Coffee says no, but can't wait. Yeah, I'm going to be keeping an eye on what people are saying about Tekken. I won't pick it up because I don't play those games. But I'm interested to see what like the competitive level looks like. 'Cause it's kind of fun to watch. But I don't play the games. The combat style is not really my thing. I've been following MK, though. They had a new trailer for Geras in MK1, which is looking to be pretty silly. Okay, so great sword, more low rank, more rank garbage to sift through later. Long sword, probably this one. Raw. Maybe go poison. We could do Chameleos, I guess. Where are you? Cam's down here. 300, 15% affinity. Oh, wait, it's not poison? Oh, I could have sworn that was a poison greatsword or a long sword at some point. Might be able to build it though. Nope. Nope, I need base materials. That's master rank. Okay. That's an option. Valstrax. Oh boy, I don't want to farm Valstrax. Pretty decent raw dragon element. Super big white sharpness bar. That's also a possibility. Or, you know what? It's not optimal, but if I pull longsword, I can just make the Geismagorm one. Because I can make it outright. Iconic says, yeah, Geras has a personality now. Yeah, it's kind of interesting watching the cutscene interactions for what they've shown in that trailer. I'm very curious to see what ends up happening with like the story and how they rewritten the characters. I know one of the previous things they showed off for Mortal Kombat, it showed that Li Mei's coming back, which I haven't even played a game that she was in, but she was introduced like a long time ago. I've still been working on the big fighting game presentation I talked about before, where I talk about all my mains across the games I've played. I'm hoping, since I main Devora in MKX and MK11, and I haven't seen her yet, so hopefully she comes back. Then I'm assuming we're probably not going to get a full roster until maybe it gets closer. Does it come out? Not September. Does it come out in September? When does MK1 come out? Let's find out. Oh, it is September 14th, huh? Wow, that's pretty close. That's like 2 months. Iconic says Li Mei is so whack in the old timeline. She was inconsistent. I guess they've changed her role. I know nothing about that character. I just know she's like a purple martial arts lady. I guess we'll see. Okay, so longsword. That means I could create Geismagorm. Could do that too. I can only make one unless I farm the boss, because I only have one of the Dragon's Fires. That is definitely an option. Maybe I will farm that and just make a bunch of those weapons just as placeholders. What's its bow look like? It's a rapid level 5. That's not a bad bow, actually. Negative affinity sucks, but no slots. Level 3 rampage, rapid 5. That's not bad at all. Okay. May have to farm the big guy at some point. Coffee says, I really want to play Project L. Project L looks cool. I know very little about it, but I've been watching Max's coverage of it every once in a while, and it looks neat. I'll have to see when it comes out, since that's based out of the League universe, right? Definitely cool. Let's see. I'll go J. Sushi on duels. I need more of the 3rd tier hides from Kuluyaku. Well, it's time to go beat up the bird. For Mortal Kombat, Iconic says, hopefully each game has at least one rep from each game, and if X gets a rep, it's probably Devora. It's either going to be her or Kotal, I would imagine. We haven't seen Kotal at all, what his role is in the story. For folks following Mortal Kombat 1's development, what do you think of the DLC announcement? It's a pretty interesting selection that they had in there. I guess I didn't connect that the WB properties would feature heavily. But seeing Takeda back is interesting. I thought he was a cool character. He was in X and not 11, I think. And then it's like Omni-Man from Invincible. Was it Homelander from The Boys? And like John Cena's character, Peace Guy. Interesting selection. There's only like one or two MK characters, and the rest are all like guest characters.
I'm ready to do this. How about you, Master Utsushi? I'm always ready to thrash. Hope you brought your A.
All right, we're going up the side.
Hey.
Iconic says, 2 Evil Supermen is a bit weird, and Takeda is interesting given the timeline. Is foreign universe person or rebooted version? Yeah, because they rebooted the timeline, no one knows what his role is going to be. And as far as including like the 2 Evil Supermen, it almost seems like that would have been more suited for an Injustice crossover. So makes me think Injustice is backburnered. There's been no word on that. I honestly thought we would get Injustice 3 before we got the next MK. But NetherRealm was, I guess, putting all their priority on a new MK game for the last few years. Alright. It shouldn't be too bad. Kuluyaku is a low tier target, but on Afflicted, it can actually hit you very, very hard. Especially when it's got the rock. So I just need to watch out for that and keep clocking it. And I am bouncing off of the rock as well. I think it's because the hitbox is a little bit out in front. Drop it. Oh man, every time I get hit, I'm going to lose my Heaven Sent buff too, which is also annoying. Hey, it's Al. Let's get a ride.
Remember the mounting bases. Take it for a spin. Get it! You've done this before, right? I'm gonna take some notes.
Watch and learn.
Do your thing, Ace.
3 hits. Iconic says Homelander will for sure be Injustice Superman, but unrestrained by a T rating. It'll be interesting to see what the movesets look like. Another thing that's kind of interesting, again, I don't know a ton about Mortal Kombat because I haven't been playing all the games, just the most recent ones for the most part. So like a lot of the PS2 era games I didn't play. I don't know a lot of the characters that were introduced in those generations. But with the new assist system in MK1, it seems like they're bringing back a lot of the older or less common characters. I think Darius was one of them. At least it looked like him as an assist. Apparently he hasn't been in the game for a while. So it could be a way for them to bring back more of the cast. Like, I wonder if they'll bring back Su Hao, character no one cares about. Because they did the whole reboot thing with the story, any of the characters can have any sort of role and they can basically rewrite their story. Based on what I've seen so far, I'm probably gonna go Smoke main. He was my main in 9. Playing with Smoke was fun. I would go Smoke or Devora, depending on if she comes back and what they do with her moveset.
This should make it good as new.
Alright, where are we going? There you are. Iconic says, I want Havoc and Draymond back. Drummond, best oddballs. You just bring back Meat. Remember Meat? Or Mocap. It's such like a weird library of characters they put, especially in the older PS2 games where there's just like 80 characters. Sit down. Alright, Coffee, gonna go do some Warzone. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks again for the sub, dude. And really appreciate it. May your wars be full of zones. Alright. Stay still. There we go. There we go.
Think you can take on the master? Ready for some action?
Bye-bye.
You're not going to take some open wide.
Look out! It's angry!
This target's so small. Makes Kuyaku kind of obnoxious. I did this with Lance, and it took about 15 minutes, just kind of turtling through everything. So I'm trying to see if I can do it faster with duels, since I have better damage output with duels. Oh, I'm surprised it didn't hit me. Paralysis. Oh, oh, no rock for you. I'd find it's a pot. Did I bounce off the pot?
You're the best, pal.
I do not bounce off the pot. That's good. Okay, almost dead. That is noticeably faster. You can do it in sub 10. Be careful. Let's try to go for a knockdown. Ah, sit down. Sucker. Let's go, sub 10. Alright. This is a 30-minute max quest timer too, the multiplier I have on it. Okay, that's good. So I can do this in sub 10.
But I still have energy left to burn. Oh yeah? You didn't get enough? What could we do to tire you out? Ah, I know. How about a sprint back to camp?
That's kind of interesting to see the banter between these two. These two characters are from entirely different parts of the game. Zushi's from Commodore in Base Rise, and Jay's from Elgato in Sunbreak. They have banter back and forth, which is cool. I need to unlock the two elders, Gallius and Fugen. I think those are the last two followers I need to unlock. But all the NPCs have banter either between the characters that are from their immediate area or others like this one. So there's little bits of dialogue that kind of toss back and forth, which is kind of cool. Alright, Afflicted Hide Plus. We need to get this one at over 100. Okay. 92. So we got 10. Next one might push it close to 100 something. And then the reward tier is going to upgrade to tier 3. It's on tier 2 right now. So be a bit grindy since I need that third tier. But we can do it quickly with duels. Let's see. Might Seeds. What do I want to farm up? A lot of mandragoras. Not fish. Which was the bomb one? That one. Well, I guess I don't really need fish either. I'm trying to think of a material I can slot in here that will be useful. Gunpowder, all that stuff I can buy, so I don't really need fish for it. Hmm. Nitro shrooms? We could do nitro shrooms. Kind of a free slot. The nullberries and honey, I think, are the most important ones I'm farming actively. Body bargaining. Okay. I'll jump back in. We're gonna run that one back. Okay, now it's at 92. We'll switch up our followers. We take Arlo on hammer. And Minoto is one of the ones we unlocked for. Oh, she uses horn too? I think she uses horn, but I don't know if it's a support horn. Does it say? Oh, it'll say if I switch. Performance, Earthshaker, slide beat. You can see her skills that she comes with too, which is kind of cool. I will see how she does with horn. I thought I remember it's saying that she doesn't do support like her sister does. Kong says, "Be right back. Gonna eat dinner." Okay. At 2:30 in the afternoon. It's not lunch. Well, either way, enjoy your meal. This one doesn't matter too much. I bet if I throw on an attack potion, a demon drug, I can do that fight even faster. Let's find out. I also need the armor spheres from doing these hunts. Because I've got to eventually build my lance set. And then I'll have to work on upgrading everything else. Still a lot to do. I know I stream this game every other week, every couple weeks or so, but reality is I'm probably going to be playing Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak until the next one comes out, because there's just so much to do. But because we have to get everything prepared for Extra Life, that'll be my focus in the short term.
That takes care of that. Nice work.
Okay, Mega Demon Drug. See if how much the attack bump speeds up our quest time. Time to beat's like 950, I think. The last one. It's gonna get tricky because as the afflicted hunts scale in difficulty, the health pools are gonna go up too. So I probably will not be able to get my time down super low, because after 100 something, the monster's gonna have a lot of health. But we can definitely try. You can also see how the Dirty Bird's moveset changes as it gets up in the hundreds. Hey. You cut that out. Oh, right as my heaven sent procs. Good. Okay, pile the damage on. I like how the target's so small and all the NPCs around and just kind of swarming. It's even hard to make the target out. Alright. Affliction status is back. Rock again. Oh, I didn't get to throw it. Usually it does the leaping tackle with the rock. It's fine. Nope, nope, get back here.
Don't let him get away! Ride like the wind! Gotta be quick!
Try and get that knocked down. Yep, that works. There we go.
I'm gonna kick your butt!
We break head? Yeah. Okay. When it's in a tired state, Kuluyaku can get its beak stuck in the ground. It's just free hits.
Thanks a bunch!
Oh,
I needed that. Love you, buddy.
about 6 minutes in. Drop it. Let's get that knocked down. Ah. Wasn't fast enough. Nope. Stay here. Well, stop. There we go. That is very close to the same time. About eight minutes, I think. So still sub 10, pretty good.
What have we here?
If I'd gotten a knockdown, I probably would have shaved off maybe 30 seconds. That should put us over 100. If not over 100, very close. $102, okay. So we're gaining about 10. As it goes up, it's going to start scaling a little bit in the gains. We did 818, so the last one was 950. And that was a time to beat. So we did an 818, so yeah, definitely faster. Probably on account of the Mega Demon drug, okay.
Be sure to check the special list. Anomaly quests can be found here.
Alright, Afflicted Thick Hide. I believe that's what I need.
We can talk again soon.
So 102 break point to get the level or tier 3 reward. What I'm doing, the reason why I'm doing this now is for this lance. The set blueprint that I looked up online for an endgame lance build, which is what all those armor pieces I was farming for are going to be put into. They recommended using Magnamalo's Blast Lance. Probably because it's pretty high raw, it's got blast element, decent slots. So I've been trying to pump attack on this thing, just all in on raw, and then maybe I'll add affinity later. But we need Afflicted Thick Hide for level 3, and it'll be Dire Fang for 4. So I'll probably go... Oh, I'm missing a slot. I need one more slot. And that requires Claw. Okay, so I gotta do that too. See if we can get to Thick Hide. We'll run Kuliaku one more time. See if we can get the Thick Hide, and then we'll switch over. Try and get the slots.
A special quest has been added.
And that might push this one close to 110, which I don't need to put it higher than 102 because the tier 3 material is what I'm looking for. Let's take Fio on Longsword. Why not? Anybody else use Longsword? Or Rondine, okay. Longsword ladies.
I pray for your good fortune.
And maybe I'll switch to a different weapon after this to farm up some of that other stuff. I could take my Lancer set. It's just not optimized and defense is low. That set is what I'm trying to replace. Hence farming up the weapon stuff and the armor spheres. I can craft the armor pieces I need for that Lancer set. But I'm going to need a boatload of armor spheres to max the defense out. Otherwise, it'll just be paper. So we'll go back. Fight Dirty Word one more time. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I get 2 Thick Hide drops from this. If not, I have to do it again.
I do. And with Kimura's hero by our side, there's nothing we cannot accomplish. Ta-da! Yeah. Right. be done in no time.
For starters.
Hello. This one's bigger than the last one. This is a lot bigger than the last one. Oh. Pop offense. Take my drugs. Hey. Okay. Definitely seeing higher damage scaling. Throw a rock at me. Dare you. Can only imagine what max affliction rank a fight like this looks like. Just hyper erratic, fast bird movement everywhere. I don't want to deal with that.
For the best, pal.
Knock down. No knockdown. There it is.
I'm gonna get you!
Somebody's dog was clamped onto its face. That's funny.
No more holding back!
There's one thing I have the stagger decoration on. I think it's on the set by default. Shock absorber means I can't get knocked over by longsword users. Hey, get back here.
Let's go! Gotta be quick! Move out!
Who is that? Oh, Bisha 10. All right. That works. We'll go for a ride.
Let's go for a ride!
Pelt shoot fruit. Oh, get dunked right out of the air. Go for that knockdown. There it is.
Mr. Monster, meet Mr. Weapon!
No, no, no. Wiener.
Faster, buddy! Make me proud!
Alright, you stand there, it's fine. Oh, that's good timing.
Feeling marvelous. Thanks a bunch. Now it's personal. Throwing a sonic bomb.
Almost dead. Hey. What's that? Hey, Kondo's here. What's up, Kondo? Kondo says this thing can take a beating. Yeah, this is affliction level 102. Well, a regular Kuliaku would be dead in minutes. With higher health pools and actually does decent damage, especially when holding a rock. Nope. Yeah, sit down. How are you doing, Kondo? Getting ready for AC6. There's a lot of good news coming out in the last week or so. Release is less than a month away. I am very excited.
All right, sister. I merely wield my weapon with all my might. Knights must
We have about 8 minutes again. Pretty consistent time. Okay, it's one thick hide. I need one more. And I don't need to do this one again. Kona says, oh yeah, I already pre-ordered. Yeah, I pre-ordered when they announced the really fancy bundle. It was not cheap, but I own no Armored Core merch, and the fact that we're getting a game after a decade was a good enough reason for me to sock away some change for it. But yeah, I've been watching a lot of the content creator in-depth hands-on stuff from the recent events they did, and looking at all the cool stuff they saw. It looks like a really good polished product. Can't wait. I'm gonna be playing that a lot next month. Okay, Fagem. Thick hide. Okay. Well, we got enough. All right, we're good on thick hides. Kondo says I just watched the gameplay demo they put out a couple days ago. Yeah, the one like the 11-minute one on the main like Bandai Namco channel. I watched that one, and then I watched the ones from Vati Vidya and Iron Pineapple. I need to watch Fightin' Cowboys because they had like 6 hours to play the game, and each content creator captured their own footage, so all of their experiences were a little bit different. So it's kind of a cool way to see like the different missions that they were able to show and how they went about it, because all of them went about it differently. But just based off of the official channel gameplay demo, that was enough for me. But seeing all of the in-depth analysis from people who've played the older games is fascinating. You know, people that have been there back since like Gen 1, Gen 2, and on. hearing them kind of compare some of the things that are in the new game and implementation of stuff. It's very exciting. Okay, curious weapon. Okay, can unlock attack boost. That's fine. Can't slot it in until we get another slot. So I need claw. Afflicted dire claw. Plus. I think that's an ogre. Let's take a look.
There's a special quest for you. Anomaly quests can be found here.
Afflicted dire claw plus. Oh, it's Rajang. Okay. Oh, all right. Can fight Rajang. That's not terrible. Let's go Lance. Level 122. Pain. Full Lance party. Ladies of the Lance.
If anyone can handle this, it's you.
Kondo says it's going to be upgrade nostalgia. It'll be upgraded nostalgia, but I think it'll be very modernized as far as, you know, an Armored Core game in the current gen with a lot of the sensibilities and refinements and things that FromSoft has learned through the Soulsborne franchises and whatnot. So, fingers crossed, and chances are looking pretty good that hopefully we'll get the Elden Ring equivalent of an Armored Core game where it's like a culmination of what they learned and is kind of like a landmark entry in the franchise.
Alright, let's go.
I think it's very likely. You know, even the most hardcore veteran skeptics who were really not enthused at the first couple of things they talked about, the recent gameplay, a lot of them seem to have come around. Okay, Lance. We need ice. Gondo says, I'm looking forward to the bosses. Yeah, dude, the bosses look really cool. The scale, like the Baltius fight, which a lot of people assumed was a late game boss, is just the chapter 1 boss, which is pretty interesting. In addition, they've confirmed there's no co-op, multiplayer co-op, but depending on how well the game does, I could see them potentially adding that as a feature in like an expansion or something in the future. But they said that PvP is going to be 1v1 or 3v3. Max 6-person. I don't know if they're going to have 2v2v2, but 1v1 or 3v3 for sure in PvP. And you could do online build sharing and stuff, which is really cool. The idea that you can take your loadout or schematic and share it with other people if they want to test your build out is a really neat idea. Put guard bash. Shotproof. Gondo says they did great on the size scale comparison during the gameplay demo. Yeah, in addition to the boss encounters, the scale and scope of the level environments is really impressive too. A lot of people were curious as to whether or not it'd be like open world. It's not open world like in an Elden Ring or Souls game because it's mission based. But the way they've built out the terrain and environments you run around in 6 looks really cool. Like a lot of like gritty installation, military base stuff, snow fields. I'm sure there'll be like tight confined base layouts. As long as I don't have to escape from a sinking sub in the Arctic, like in 3, I'll be happy. But even though it's a contained mission structure, there's a lot of open environments. They confirm there's going to be secret parts and like subquests and encounters to find. The big sort of arms fort type encounter they showed off looks really cool. So hopefully we'll see a lot of those big scale fights where you've got to take down a massive target.
There's a strange creature. There it is.
Lucky Life. Where are you? All right, Furious George. I'm done this fight in a minute. How dare you? Ow. Hey, Iconic's back. Hopefully you had a good dinner. Nope, don't do that.
That's my buddy.
Because of my Rampage Decoration Guard Bash, when I block, I do a bit of impact and I think KO damage, which is nice. But really I want to be parrying or countering. So. Ooh. Oh. That was real damage.
I'll make you regret this.
Real damage and what's my defense? Like 7 something with this set? It's like 7 something.
This ain't over yet.
733, yeah. It's gonna be tough. This means I can't get hit.
Need to sharpen this thing. It pays to care for your weapon.
Proud of your polishing skills.
If I keep getting more armor spheres, maybe I'll build that replacement set for this. I have to look at the decoration list too, though. There's a bunch of decorations I need to slot in to get the skills. I'll have to take a look. I could have taken Magnum Malo's Lance here. Would have been better for base damage.
Ride like the wind. Move out.
Uh-oh, Stam's getting low. That's a big hit. If I can use Anchor Rage for that, I'll get the highest level attack buff. Uh-oh. Aw, come on, I was out of range. And now I'm dizzy. Thank you for running interference, Minato.
I needed that. I shall do Kumura proud. That's my buddy.
Already mad. Oh, come on. Guess I need more practice doing Lance on this fight. Hit me. It's reminding me more of Royal Guard practice from DMC. Ah, sit down. Finally. DMC 5 was fun. I figure out what I'm going to play next. But it was definitely a good ride. We beat that one last week. Iconic says, glad you enjoyed DMC 5. Yeah, I did. It's a very well-made character action game. And kind of like Super Beast dudes have said, DMC 5 makes Bayonetta 3's faults a lot more apparent. Because I hadn't played all the way through DMC 5, but I beat Bayonetta, you know, months ago when it came out. Well, I did enjoy Bayonetta 3 a lot. I think it's a good game. It is definitely a bit more rough around the edges. And it's way more apparent after playing DMC 5. Iconic asked, did you ever get double Kalina Ann? No, I'd have to go back and do the mission where you get the Mark 1. So I only have the Mark 2. Other than that, I think I have everything. I didn't even unlock a lot of the movesets for everybody. So I'll probably play through more DMC on my own time. Maybe do like one of the more difficult modes and more of Bloody Palace. Uh-oh. Sit down. Iconic says DMC 5 should have been Game of the Year for double Kalina Ann alone. It sounds nutty. Kind of wish Dante got more weapons. I understand because they're splitting between 3 characters instead of like just 1 or 2. I think it would have been cool if he got more weapons. Lame.
It's a bunch. After it! Don't let it get away! Ride like the wind!
I guess we'll just have to see what's on the horizon for the next major character action game. Hopefully they make another DMC. I'm surprised we even got 5. So we'll just have to see what Capcom does. I think their biggest priority right now is probably the next Monster Hunter title. Next Monster Hunter title and Dragon's Dogma 2. Those 2 things are probably what they're prioritizing. Iconic says, nothing was funnier than juggling Virgil with 2 rocket launchers. I tell you what. Yeah, that sounds pretty nutty. Virgil fight was pretty tough at the end of the game. Probably would have been less tough if I had farmed more and got more upgrades. Nice, alright. Ow. Oh, lucky. Lucky pop. Okay, coming up on 15. This is not going to be as low of a time as the other ones. Rajang's a pretty tough customer. Come on, Stinky. Oh, fine. Something I can't. Iconic says, yeah, DMC 6 would be cool, especially if they let Trish and Lady be playable again. Yeah, definitely for the setup of 5. The whole idea is like the passing of the torch from Dante to Nero. And he's kind of going to like take the reins while Dante and Virgil are duking it out in the demon world. We'll see. Hopefully Itsuno had good enough reception and everything for 5. 5 did really well, and it was a pretty successful game. That we'll see the franchise do something else in the future. Hopefully no more DMC Don'tes. It was a weird experiment, but ultimately, I guess we largely just don't talk about that one. Right in the bum. Okay. Let's try and get a knockdown. Iconic says Dante should only ever be an alt costume, a meme costume, and nothing more. Oh yeah, I didn't even play that game. I heard it was okay. Like mechanically, it was all right. It just really didn't do much to further the DMC brand. Like a lot of design and narrative decisions people obviously didn't like. Characters weren't really likable. But I give them props for at least trying something different. Ah. Huh? Over my shield? Ah. Trying to go for Anchor Rage. Oh. Who said that? Was that Minoto? Did you say try to play dead? Very funny. Iconic says that the DMC story was more the main thing that was bad. Yeah. Didn't they have like an official late patch like many years later where they took Virgil's fedora out? Thought I read something like that, but yeah, they basically made Virgil a Redditor, made Dante this kind of like obnoxious wannabe like punk emo dude. It was much less wacky wahoo and a lot more like I'm so edgy and cool, but not really. Oh, all the cutscenes were patched. That's funny. I say they should have just doubled down, man. Stick to your design decision choices and just own it. I'm gonna take the coward route. I would also be in support of a new character action franchise. It depends who it's by, though. I wouldn't trust anyone other than Platinum or Capcom to do something completely new. But the genre just doesn't have a ton of solid entries. I guess it's difficult to completely pull off well. It's really easy to screw up. There were lots of attempts that weren't really good. Back in like PS2 era, I don't know if anyone remembers Heavenly Sword. I never played that one, but apparently it wasn't that good. You had Dante's Inferno. Technically, Castlevania Lords of Shadows like a character action game. It's very close. Ah. Broke your horn. Uh-oh. Yeah, like Iconic is saying, God of War style character action games were definitely kind of a trend in like PS2 era, older like Xbox era. Kondo asks, sorry, I'm trying to read chat and not die at the same time. I've never played one of these Monster Hunter games. How do you tell where the dude's life's at? Or is it just hit it till it dies? Good question. So in Monster Hunter, there is no indication of health as far as like a life bar. In the upper right, where you can see the monster target icons, when the monster has a blue little monster head icon underneath like Rajang does, it means it's ready to capture or near death. When the monsters get to that state, in addition to that little marker, they'll start limping around and they'll show visible signs of fatigue. They're almost dead. So it's visual cues and that icon is like an actual gameplay cue. But in the past, you've always had to kind of rely on the tells and watching as opposed to just watching a life bar deplete. That's something that's always been the case in Monster Hunter. Alright. Oh, that was lucky. Okay. So we got a little over 20. Not terrible. If I was using duels, it would have been much faster since that armor set's more optimized. But to answer Kondo's question, the core focus of Monster Hunter gameplay-wise is definitely hit the target till it dies and don't get hit yourself. But you observe kind of behaviorally some of the things that tell you how you're doing in the fight. Like for Rajang here, I broke both its horns, and I think I might have broke one of its arms. So breaking parts off the monster is an indication of damage, and also it affects the rewards you get. So if you break horns, you're more likely to get horn drops. You can break its tail, which is very hard to do. You can see that it's scarred. If you poke its tail enough, you can get a drop from that. And Kondo says, Shadow of the Colossus style God of War was good in gaming. Yeah, I haven't really seen anything like Shadow of Colossus. Anything recently. I never did pick up the kind of HD remaster one that came out a few years ago. I heard it was good. As far as direct line action games go, and everyone here, for the most part, has probably heard me mention this at least once, so it won't be news, but I'll say it again for the masses. I would like some spiritual successor iteration of God Hand. I know it's a pipe dream because of the way the rights work, but I hope someday we'll see some sort of game like God Hand again. Because it's one of my favorite games. And it's silly. There's a lot of fun playing through God Hand here on the channel. It was pain, and it cost me a PS5 controller, but it was fun. A modern gen God Hand game with a lot of polish and more up-to-date quality of life improvements could be really fun. Yeah, like Iconic is saying, we should just crowdfund a campaign to get all of the Clover IPs into a state where anyone can use them. Maybe give them to Platinum. And we give them a lot of money so that they can bring back things like Beautiful Joe, which is another Clover IP, Okami, God Hand. All those games that were really not, I wouldn't say Okami and Beautiful Joe were that obscure, but of the Clover IPs, definitely God Hand is the one that people probably know the least, unless they, heard about it on the internet. Okay, did I get enough for the slot? I did. So this boosts attack by 5 is just flat out bonus. That's nice. And then you get sharpness from level 5. Okay. 100 points. Wow, it's expensive.
Not for my time in Kimura Village. I doubt I ever would have figured out how to perform these upgrades. I am
Okay, so now we can upgrade to level 6 attack. So again, Kondo, I know you don't know this game from experience, but what I'm doing here, this is the end game of Monster Hunter right now. Those quests you see me going on with the monsters that are glowing red are a special type of end game quest called Afflicted Investigations. And the materials you get from those allow you to customize and tweak your weapons and armor. So this is a lance. This is one I should have probably been using for that last fight. Those little jewel icons in the middle are augmentation slots. And you use materials you get from those higher difficulty fights to upgrade things like base attack. Affinity boost. Affinity is crit chance. Status effect is irregular status effects if it's on your weapon. Sharpness is your sharpness gauge, little blade on the right. That is how much damage your weapon does, and it degrades over time, so you have to resharpen your weapon. And Rampage slot is upgrading an additional decoration you can slot in. And so this portion of the game is heavily based around tailoring your loadout of gear towards how you want to play. And I'm focusing on attack for Lance because I want to go pretty much all in on offense, at least up to 4. Level 4 is 8? 8 slots? I think it's 8. It kind of says glass cannon style. Offense on the weapon. For the armor rolls are a little bit different. So you have the augmentation ability on weapon or armor as well, but it's more like you're randomly rolling. Like, let me pick something that I'm not gonna be super upset about if something happens to it. Actually, it doesn't matter. I can just cancel it. So let's say Astalos Mail. You can roll a different set of materials you get from those higher level fights to basically roll certain skills or go for base defense upgrades on your weapons. So like for this one, let's say we used
Only way I can help.
a Prime Amber Essence. This is just to illustrate what I'm talking about.
Best believe I'm gonna put my heart and soul into it too.
What this does is it rolls a random percentage chance. I don't know what the percentage is, but it rolls from a table of skills, which are under the skill setting, and then it rolls a set of either defense increases, decreases, or resistance decreases or increases, and slot upgrades or downgrades. And yeah, it's random. The results are random, but you can choose to not keep the results. So like right now, the armor, again, this is probably not going to mean a ton, but right now the armor piece I've got has a skill called Slugger, which I think is from one of the other things I've got on. But with the augmented rolled status, it would increase its base defense by 38, increase dragon resistance by 2, but anything in red is a downgrade on skills. So this one has burst, which is basically a higher crit on multiple attacks, which is very, very useful. So downgrade on burst and downgrade on stamina surge. Not good. The increased defense is pretty negligible as you get higher in difficulty. You really want to focus on getting good skill rolls here, so we would discard that. You don't get the materials back, but the armor piece is unchanged. And you can roll through for head pieces, chest pieces, waist pieces, arm, and leg. There's 5 different types of armor slots of gear. And so you could spend a lot of time in the end game doing rolls. And again, it is random, which can be kind of annoying. I haven't done this a ton purely because it is random. But going through this, you can get some really interesting skill loadouts just by getting lucky with the rolls. And yeah, no refund, but for, let's see, skill plus, there's 3 different types. There's just general mix of upgrades and skills, and there's pure skill, which is this one. So any rolls here I think are only skills. We can test it. It's more expensive, but you're basically rolling from only the skill pool, I think. So this is 120 requirement. Each one of these materials are what drop from the monsters on different tiers of those afflicted investigations. And I've got a butt ton because I haven't done this a lot. So like 668 of the 20 value ones, I could do this for a while. 635 of the 40 value, and it takes 120 just for one roll. I have a lot. I've got a lot of resources to do this if I wanted. And it costs 4,000 zenny, which is not really that significant. So with this loadout, I still get a defense. No, that doesn't change. Resistances change. Blood right, tremor res, downgrade on stamina surge. Blood Right's cool, but it's not really something I'm using on this build. It doesn't matter because I'm going to switch this armor piece out. But basically, you could do this for a long time, playing around with the rolls and whatnot. But it's a neat system. It gives you a reason to fight those endgame targets. If you really care about min-maxing your gear and getting some real cool combinations of skills, that's what this stuff is for. I'm kind of focusing on weapons because the benefits are a little bit more tangible. But I've got a lot of weapons. There's 14 classes. And let's see how many elements. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 based elements in each class. So if you wanted to build an ice, water, fire, dragon, and thunder element weapon for every single weapon type, it's 5 times 14. And it's not really necessary. It depends on the weapon type. Like these smaller, fast-hitting weapons like sword and shield and dual blades benefit from element. You can capitalize on exploiting elemental weakness and increase your damage output. Bigger, heavier weapons that are slower, like Gunlance, which has its own sort of artillery mechanic, but doesn't really benefit a ton from element because you're using damage with shelling. So Gunlance is my favorite weapon in the game, and it deals damage by, like it sounds like, discharging shells from the Gunlance, which has its own damage type, unaffected by element or raw damage, actually. Really cool though. I could show off Gunlance if you folks want to see it. It's been a little bit, and probably a little rusty. But let's see. So, what do I need? Oh, did I not unlock this? I did not unlock this. Okay, let's do this one first. 6 slot for this attack one. This one's only worth 80.
Now that I got this curious crafting down, I feel like I'm starting to close the gap between Master
Kona says lots of options, gets pricey. Yeah, it can get pricey, but at the end game, you usually get like 50,000 zenny per successful quest, and you stack up a lot of materials you can sell. So money's not really an option here. It's mostly resources. It's getting the materials to get your respective upgrades. Yeah, I need 8. And so now it's Dire Hardhorn, Dire Wing. Okay. We'll see what I need to do that. Dire Hardhorn might be Zinogre again. One of the draws of Monster Hunter, and people have heard me talk about this a lot since it's my favorite series. One of the draws of Monster Hunter is because there's 14 classes of weapons and a lot of options for customizing how you play, there's a lot of really open-endedness when it comes to how you build your hunter and your loadout. Kind of like we were talking about with Armored Core, where you can take your mech and tailor it towards, you know, a high-speed build, a tankier build, a heavy artillery build. Monster Hunter's weapon system, quote-unquote classes, are so unique that no two weapons play identically. You know, your longsword and greatsword might seem on paper similar, but they play nothing alike. One is very slow and methodical, but hits for big damage. The other is a lot faster and built around parries and counters, and can adapt to a lot of quick situations. Let's see, Dire Hardhorn. Afflicted Dire Horn Plus. That is not the one I'm looking for, I think. Unless it upgrades to that. Well, I have a handy dandy infographic that I use to figure out what drops from what. Let me pull that up.
The threat of afflicted monsters has set us all on edge. Seeing how determined you are to overcome this calamity has inspired the knights and bolstered their resolve.
Dire Hardhorn 161. 161. Oh, 161. All right. Afflicted level 161 or higher, but Zinogre is one we can use. So this one's at 117, so that one needs to be grinded up a bit to get Dire Hardhorn. Okay, that's doable.
Come again.
And we got Hydrate and Stretch from Iconic. Oh. I'm sore. I went running earlier. But it's good to sit down. All right. Let's go Gunlance. This one. This set needs to be optimized a bit too. Its defense is low 700s. But we'll give it a try. Take a layered cosmetic off. This is Basilgeese's armor, kind of like a feathered gladiator type style. And that's the Pyarachna Kadaki Gunlance, normal shelling type.
Be sure to check the special quest. Anomaly quests can be found here.
Okay, Zinogre. Zinogre in the Flooded Forest. For this one, let's put Arlo on Gunlance. And let's put Utsushi on Gunlance. Gunlance, guys.
May tranquil days return to us shortly.
Kondo says, I gotta run tomorrow. Did yard work today. It's triple digits where I am. Yeah, I guess I'm fortunate I'm not in the part of the country here in the States that's getting absolutely slammed with heat wave stuff. Like the middle and coasts in the south, from what I read, are getting absolutely pounded with heat wave stuff. It is brutal from what I've heard. Like I live on the west coast and it's still decently warm. It's kind of overcast today, but it's been kind of hot, just not as hot as the rest of the country. Like high 80s this week, I think. Not triple digits for sure. Well, stay hydrated. All right. Let us commence with Thunder Pupper.
Ready to go.
All right, real quick breakdown, since some folks might not have seen Gunlance before. Gunlance is a lot slower, similar to the Lance on par as far as movement, but it doesn't focus on parrying or countering at all. Instead, Gunlance focuses on shelling. You can discharge shells, which are my ammo underneath my life bar, the little bullet icons. Depending on your Gunlance shelling type, some are closer range blasts, some are a little bit further, and some do more concentrated damage. So normal's kind of in the middle, long can pitch shots further out, and wide does more concentrated damage close. When using Gunlance, you'll do a lot of side steps and dodges to position yourself, block incoming hits. You have stabs laterally, stabs upwards, and instead of things like the counter, with regular Lance, Gunlance has this big slam, which can lead into things like full burst discharge of the entire shell clip at once. You can pop things like Worm Stake, which puts an explosive stake into the monster that takes damage and then explodes. You can do things like Blast Dash, which uses shells to propel yourself. You can go airborne using shots to get in the air for high targets, which is really fun. Or you can just rocket along using Blast Dash as high mobility as a way to close. Very fun weapon. Kind of challenging to use, a bit more technical, but the ability to do things like fire off a lot of artillery shots and whatnot. It's fun. I love the gun lance. It is a very challenging but rewarding weapon to use. Not one of the more popular ones in the game, I might add. Not a big user base of gun lancers, unfortunately. Hello. And there's our target. Alright, we'll get a ride from Somnicant. Show off bullet barrage. We get an opening. This ability to ride and kind of puppet control the monsters and fight each other is something unique to Rise. It's a pretty fun mechanic. Very interesting. Each of the monsters has their own moveset you can control when riding them. And then you do enough damage and you get a finisher. Somnicant puts the enemy to sleep. Alright, for Bullet Barrage, this consumes 2 wire bugs. Flies in, discharges your entire shell clip and your worm stake for a massive concussive amount of damage. Oh, really? Not fast? Okay. So the name of the game at Gunlance is focusing on positioning, getting in range to lay shots and discharge artillery and stack damage up on the monster that way. Ooh. Bad. Kondo says at least you can close the game quickly. As far as distance goes, yeah, that blast dash ability is really important for Gunlance. Because its ground speed's a little bit slower, being able to just rocket forward and get in and out is very handy. They had that in GU, but it's actually a slottable skill in this game, which I really like. And it looks cool. There's actually reverse blast dash, which is a wire bug skill that shoots you backwards, but with your shield out, so it can block in addition to just moving. Oh, come on. I need to optimize this set and up its defense. Oh, that was a bad time to reload. The monster is upset because my defense is so low. It puts me in one-shot territory.
This ain't over yet.
Just getting started. We all bullfango it up eventually.
Okay, well, it's one cart.
Down.
How about we have a dance party?
This should make it good as new. That looks like it's gonna hurt.
Uh-oh.
I'll make you.
Threw my counter way too early. Well, that's not good. So, when you get KO'd, you lose all your health, and get carded,
No worries.
you can have that happen 3 times. On your third cart, it's a failed hunt. And I've been doing pretty good at avoiding that up till now. But I am using a considerably lower defense armor set for a very high level target. So I need to be careful. I'm going to fail my quest. Oh, and not throw inputs for Lance. That would also be helpful. I do have a parry, which is what I tried to throw before that really big hit, and I threw it too early. It basically parries one attack and sharpens your weapon at the same time, but it cannot parry multiple hits. So if you throw that, it'll parry the first hit of a big attack, and you'll get clocked by whatever follows up. So it's not 100% safe. Yeah, I guess that's technically true. Oh no, this would be a bit more glass cannony just because I don't have a lot of defense. But the gun lance can block, so it's meant to be defensive as a weapon. I just don't have the ability to take hits. Like, you want to be probably around 900 or between closer to 1,000 in base defense at this difficulty, and I'm at 732. But as they say, if you just get good, it should be a non-issue. And if I fail this, it's not a big deal. I can always come back with a different weapon. Come back with duels. I just wanted to show off gun lance since I was talking about it. Oh. Okay. Not using bullet barrage enough. That does a lot of damage. Burst damage. Let's fix that. Oh, come on. Not if I miss, though. Thunderblight status will KO me. Hey, wake up. Garbush, put a little makeup. My NPCs get KO'd if they lose their life, but they don't contribute to the cart limit, thankfully. But they will need to be revived so they can get back in. There we go. What is that? Somnicant again? Uh-oh. Oh, really hit me out of the air. And knocked me off a cliff. Weak, now I gotta get back up there. Hey, Snarga. Yeah, the ability to zip around Spider-Man style Kondo with the wire bugs, as they're called, that's also unique to Rise. That kind of airborne traversal movement is something kind of new for Monster Hunter. It was one of the gimmick gameplay things for this one. It's a lot of fun. It basically makes the game faster and very mobility based. I don't think it'll be in the next one. I think they'll probably change the mobility or maybe go slower. since every time a major Monster Hunter generation happens, Capcom usually switches up the gameplay focus and tries out new things. But yeah, wire bugs are fun though. And the ability to ride monsters is an interesting idea. Stay still. I missed. Alright, monsters get fatigued after a while. They'll slow down and start drooling. They'll be a bit more telegraphed in their moves. And then when that happens, they'll usually leave the zone and go eat. They'll run somewhere and take down some sort of herbivore or eat to replenish their stamina. And just like true hunting fashion, you have to track the monster down and continue to keep the pressure on. There you are. Stay still. Stay still. Thank you for staying still. Okay, Zinogre, when it's not glowing, it's depowered. It'll dash around and spend time charging up, and then it enters that sort of Super Saiyan state. And you want to try and interrupt it as much as possible, since its moveset is a lot more aggressive and dangerous when it's fully charged, like that. But if you do enough damage, it depowers it, knocks it out of powered up state, starts over again. And then when the eyes start glowing, it becomes enraged. Its moveset changes again. And that's when it does things like that backdrop, which killed me. That.
I needed that. Now's our chance! You asked for this! Need more ammo!
Oh, I tried to roll. I was like, that's one-shot territory. And that's what one-shot territory looks like. Rip. We do get some rewards for breaking some things, or if my cat steals some stuff. 15 minutes. Yeah, we probably would have been on track for like 25-minute time if I hadn't screwed up that many carts. Anyway, that's Gunlance. A lot of fun. If I had more defense, then that would have been a bit easier. Let's try... Let's do this loadout, but instead of duels, I will use Sword and Shield. And for Sword and Shield, we'll use Gorlaird. So for comparison purposes, the defense on this armor set, which is the same loadout of skills roughly for duels and Sword and Shield, this one has 879 base defense versus 730. And it's not maxed out. That's what I've been working on. So things still hurt, but they won't hurt quite as bad. let's see. We will put... Well, that's probably okay. Fanged Exploit. So I'm going to show off Sword and Shield next. This will be... It's still going to be challenging. It's a level 100 something monster. So run that back, Zenogre. And I did see your hydrate, Gondo. Almost out of smoothie.
I pray that this calamity may soon come to an end.
117. Yeah, I can already see that's going to be a whole boatload of fun times at 161. Okay. Kunda says, out of smoothie, onto whiskey. I wish. I gotta drive somewhere after this. But I'm driving to a happy hour, so there will most likely be whiskey there. Do you drink whiskey? If so, what are your favorite types of whiskey? To anybody in chat, not just Kondo, but since he mentioned it, I always like hearing what people's favorite types of alcohol are, assuming you're of legal drinking age. Alright, Tsushi and Fio, so everyone's going Sword and Shield.
I pray for your good fortune.
Kondo says Buffalo Trace is kind of a staple for me. Oh, nice. I've had Buffalo Trace. I like Japanese whiskey more than regular Western ones because they're a bit more smooth. I'm a big fan of Japanese whiskey. Some standouts are Yamazaki, Toki, Hibiki, and Nika Coffee are my favorites. Kondo says I like the burn. Yeah, I'm not as big a fan of the burn and smokiness, which is why I tend to gravitate towards the Japanese whiskeys.
Time to get going.
But I've tried a decent amount of the regular whiskeys and bourbons too. Like Whistle Pig is good. I use Bullet in old fashions. Usually either the bourbon or rye for Bullet. I'm trying to find a bourbon called Eagle Rare, which is not like a really obscure brand, but it's not one most stores carry, which is really annoying because it also makes for good old fashions. Haven't tried some of the upper labels of things like Johnny Walker. I would like to try them at some point, but that stuff ain't cheap. Kondo says, I have a buddy who trades whiskey like Pokemon cards. My brother knows someone like that. This dude that lives near where he's at, one of his friends has a dad who works in like distribution, and he's a big whiskey connoisseur, so he gets stuff for cheap. So he was able to secure like a bottle of Yamazaki 12 for like $165, which sounds like a lot, but it retails for like close to about $200 or $300 due to markup in stores. But yeah, that stuff can get up there. Alright. Sword and Shield. Going back to higher damage, output, more mobile weapons. Uh-oh. Sword and Shield is very versatile and hits quickly. And can adapt to a lot of situations. And use weapons while weapons are drawn, which is not something that most weapons in this game can do. In fact, this is the only one that can do that. It's got a lot of complex combo paths, and while a lot of people kind of call it a good starter weapon, Sword and Shield is pretty complex. It's got a parry, it's got a perfect input combo system. Very fun. This is one of the first games I've played a lot of Sword and Shield. The Metsu Shoryugeki is a rising shield strike which can deal KO damage, which is also handy. on the topic of whiskeys, Conus isn't too cheap for that. You know, whatever you enjoy is whatever you enjoy. I don't believe in alcohol elitism. Getting a chance to try some Japanese whiskey in Japan was kind of a cool thing, though. Oof. That and sake. And good sake in Japan. Come on, that's it. Nope, that's a miss. It only does KO damage if you hit targets in the head.
Let's go. Now's my chance.
It's also worth noting that I haven't really showed this off at all because I haven't been playing a weapon that makes it super easy, but anything that deals piercing or cutting damage like a bladed weapon, lances can do it too. Hammer cannot, but you can sever monster tails for a good portion of the cast. Not every single one, but a good amount of the monsters. If you do enough damage to their tails, you can cut them off for an additional carve and drop. So I'm going to try and hit Zenogre's tail. One, to give it less range on a lot of its tail swipes, and also because I want to carve its tail. You can get a rare drop from that, which is pretty handy. Hey, Snake's back. Snake says, "Hi, I just tried cheese milk and it's terrible." Oh, welcome to the right side of the war, Snake. Not that I'm sure you really needed convincing. For those who might not know what Snake is talking about, one of our peers, Wazi of Team Toxicure, likes making really watery mac and cheese. So she treats it like cereal and milk, with the cheese being the milk. And I think that's terrible. So like your Kraft mac and cheese or instant dinner, they say up in the Canada lands, she makes it really like watery and loose. I cannot condone that behavior. I think it is a food crime, and I'm willing to die on that hill. As a person who likes pastas and stuff like mac and cheese, the idea that you make it so watery that it's essentially like a soup with macaroni floating in it sounds abhorrent. Kondo says, as an American, that makes me uncomfortable. Worth noting that that's not like a thing across Canada. I know plenty of Canadians that also disagree with this practice. It is, to me, a waste of macaroni and cheese for one. The argument being, you know, you have the pasta and then you can drink the watery cheese milk like a soup. That is equally gross. Don't do that. Snake says, have you tried mac and tuna before? I have not. If you're talking about like canned tuna, I can't say that necessarily sounds that great to me, but I'd be willing to at least entertain the idea because, you know, it's basically augmented mac and cheese, which I have no problem with. But the idea that you make watery, soupy mac and cheese, no. No, go to jail. And I'm going to see this person who is known for this particular practice in Canada Land next month for the big charity event that we're doing. And I've been threatened with the prospect of having to consume cheese milk, which I just am not going to do. Kana says, wait, this person does this intentionally? Yeah, it's the preference. It is this person's preference when making mac and cheese to make it so watery and loose that it's essentially cheese soup. Like extra milk, which results in it being soupy and gross. Oh, Snake, I don't have the extra life command, but thanks for trying. If you have the link and you want to put it in chat, I don't think I have link perms restricted. But yeah, a bunch of us, part of a collective of content creators, are doing this event at the end of August called Extra Life. It's a charity for the Alberta Children's Hospital, and we'll be doing a bunch of like streaming and content over the Labor Day weekend to raise money for a good cause. And the person who's heading this charity is the one who commits the food crimes. That's Wazzy. Snake says she also peels her chicken nuggets. Look, I don't want to put her on blast, and like when she's not even here. But even the peeling of chicken nuggets, while weird, I think I could ignore more than the cheese milk. You know, I'm not really in the practice of shaming people, but if their food crimes are really weird, as a big food connoisseur myself, you know, sometimes you just got to call people out. All right, let's keep working on severing this tail. Ow. Oh. I missed. Come on, I want that KO.
Please handle things here, okay?
Look out! It's angry!
Oh, on cooldown. Hey, it's Narga. Ooh. The NPCs can also head out on the map and pick up one of the other monsters that's spawned in and come back with them as a ride for additional damage.
I'm gonna kick your butt! Strike like thunder! No more holding back!
A lot going on.
Sweet move!
Oof. Well, that's not what I thought I was going to do. Hitting that afflicted core in its... Okay, in its face is tough because it's so high up. And go for the foot instead. If we detonate enough of those red cores, then you get a hard knockdown like that. Free hits. And that was for a KO too. I don't know who did that, but... Still trying to work on this tail here.
I got the best buddies in the world.
What is that? Another horn break? Both horns? Zinogre's horns can be broken twice. The claws on its hands can be broken. Its back can be broken and tail severed. And each one of those breaks will give you more rewards. Gonk says, got to go. Thanks for the chill time. Much love to you in chat. Hope you all have a great rest of your day. All right, Iconic. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you have a good rest of your evening, and I will catch you later, my dude. Where are we going? We're going up here.
I must train so that my focus waxes yet never wanes.
Okay, 15 minutes. Making okay time. Probably on track for like 20 minutes. Sub 20 would be good. I'm a little bit rusty with Sword and Shield. There you are. Alright, let me cut off your tail. Oh, that's gonna be close enough. Ah. I don't know if I was actually getting hits on the tail because it was stuck in the wall. Kona said it knows what you want. Oh yeah. AI is definitely self-aware. No tail for you. It's a overall damage threshold though, so we just keep hitting it. Eventually we'll sever it. We'll either sever it or the monster will die. It's also worth mentioning that in Monster Hunter, in addition to just flat-out kills, you can capture monsters when they're near death. But at this tier of the difficulty in the game, these types of afflicted missions with the monsters that have those like red glowing cores, they're basically infected by these types of parasites that makes them essentially rabid. So you can't capture them. You have to put them out of their misery. But as a result of the infestation, they are much more dangerous and do more damage, more health pools and all that. But story-wise, you can't capture them. You have to kill them, put them down. Rabies is a buff. Essentially, one of the parts of the main story is figuring out where this infestation is coming from and why it's disrupting the ecosystem. And then the end game is basically kind of trying to clean up the ecosystem as the like lore reason for why you're doing this. Because the Curio, which are the name of the parasites, these little flying like lamprey looking things, are causing disruptions to the ecosystem, and that's why you have to figure out where the problem is and then solve the problem. Ah, oh, come on.
After it, Howard. Stand and fight. Let's go.
Come on, doggo.
Snake says, didn't the twins at the end of the story mode get possessed by a monster or something like that? That happens at the end of Base Rise, before Sunbreak. Yeah, the story for Base Rise is different. You're basically dealing with this kind of like cataclysm type event, and there are these big elder dragons, the wind and thunder serpents, and they're basically trying to wipe out humanity in a nutshell. And yeah, they possess the two twins, and like they talk to the rest of the characters, and then you have to fight the actual Elder Dragons as part of the end game of Base Rise. This Parasite thing is for Sunbreak specifically, the expansion.
This is the end of the line for you!
Come on. We'll cut your tail off. Uh-oh. That's what killed me last time. We're just about 20 minutes. That's fine. Keep missing with the most damaging strike for the sword and shield, which is that spinning round slash. Its damage is... There we go. Finally. Sheesh. Alright, tails off. We'll carve it once we get a spare minute. So that reduces the hitbox for Zinogre's tail swipes. But it's mostly to get additional loot. And it looks cool.
The monster's looking at you!
Snake ass. You see the news that Futurama crossed over at Fortnite? I did see that. Someone I rated or saw was playing that. Can't remember who it was. But yeah, further reinforcing the idea that at some point everything will cross over at Fortnite. Oh, life's getting low. Okay, should be alright. Just need to keep the pressure up. This will be the last hunt of the evening, then I gotta take off.
All right, let's see what we have.
So, carving the tail, we got... Oh, Lord, a Zinogre Skymerald. That is incredibly lucky. That's the rare drop. Talk about streamer luck. It was worth it. It was worth all that work to cut the tail off. That's awesome. I can use that for gear.
Make it good as new.
Skymeralds were eluded me for a lot of the game and trying to make some of the gear for this monster. And that's why we stream Monster Hunter. For streamer luck. It's like a 3% chance to carve that, which is why it's so rare. Sit down. Okay, should be almost dead.
This one's all for you.
Oh, I missed. A perfect rush combo does pretty good damage and has a pretty powerful finisher, but you have to land the third part for that to happen. Ooh. Alright, there's the mark. So Zinogre is almost dead. And it's about to go Super Saiyan. There it is. Speed of Rain back. Yep. Give me free hits.
That's one for the history. Now it's personal.
Don't roll that way. There we go. Just shy of 25. Could be better. Ideally, I'd want to be sub 20. But this is a pretty high level fight. 117, I think it was. Every time you beat one of these investigations, it levels up, and that's where the difficulty scaling comes in. And like we talked about, the rewards upgrade from a tier 1 to 2 to 3. And to get the tier 3 reward upgrade, this quest has to be level 161. So it's going to be a while, which means it's going to get even more difficult. Not bad. I think it tops out at like 250 or 300 is the max level. So you can imagine how stupid it gets when it's that high.
Excellent.
Alright, how many of those horns did I get? 1, 2. Okay. Let's see what it upgraded to. Hopefully it got like 10. 8. 125. Yeah. Like Kondo's saying, it's got a ways to go. Well. I will keep pushing that one. I could also try and get a drop for that quest instead of leveling one I have, since it'll drop right around my research level, which is 146. But it's so close, I need to farm anyway. Well, it's just a matter of repeating it, doing the fight better, and then eventually we'll hit that tier. Alright. Well, I think that will be good for today's session. I have to go and hit the road. So I'll be streaming this again probably maybe another 2 weeks or so. Hopefully I'll have made some progress offline towards the stuff I'm trying to build. But still got a ways to go to get stuff prepared for Extra Life. So that's the short-term goal. Well, let me see real quick. Find anybody I know is online to raid. Wonder if Coffee is still live. I don't think so. I need to go follow him too. Where are you? He might not be live at the moment. That's fine. I will hold off on rating for today because, again, I gotta run in a sec. So we'll go ahead and go to... I'll mute this, and we'll go to outro. And we will call it for today. I need to get next week's schedule done. It'll probably go up late tonight when I get back. But I haven't figured out what I'm streaming next week and when. But thanks to everyone who hung out. It was great talking with all you folks and talking about Monster Hunter and all sorts of other stuff. We'll be back relatively soon. So until then, hope you all have a good rest of your evening. And I will catch you later.